Anuja, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I'm very excited for this because I have traveled a lot and there are a lot of questions that come to my mind. And when I came across your Instagram and your website, I thought like you are one person who can answer all of these questions. So, first of all, thank you so much for being on the podcast and welcome. How are you? You just had a trip. So, tell us a bit about it. Where did you go and why did you choose that particular place?
Okay, so for first of all, don't thank me. I am grateful to be here, to be talking to you about whatever I like the most, I love the most, and that is travel. So yes, I've recently been to Kasol, Parvati Valley in
Okay.
Himachal Pradesh, and yeah, it was a 4 days trip, and it was not a planned one. I just wanted to go there for some work, and I
Oh,
just planned last minute with my best friend, and I was like, do you want to go? And she was like, okay, I can go.
चल
So
लेते हैं.
that's how, yeah. तो इस तरह से we just went, and we stayed there for 4 days, and mind it, I did not want to come back.
Yeah,
Parvati
I
Valley
see
is,
that from your stories.
yeah, Parvati Valley is magical. I mean, it's mysterious, magical, and to me, it was enlightening in some way or another.
Oh,
So,
what does enlightening mean? I know everyone has a different meaning. What is it for you, and how do you like get enlightened while traveling?
okay, so I was in a dilemma
Okay.
of choosing what society expects me to, and what I really love doing,
Okay.
and what I actually can do by my own.
Okay,
So,
what year are we talking about? ये कब हुआ? कब सोचा कि what society expects out of me?
it's 2020 only. I mean,
Oh,
it
it's
was a
very
testing
recent,
year
right?
for everyone of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
So so was for me. I was in a dilemma whether to follow what exactly society wants me to do in my life. Settle down,
Yeah.
get married, have a great job, and then the things will be great for you, Anuja. That's what they told me, and for me, I was not kind of satisfied with the kind of life I was living, right? A 9 to 5 job.
Okay.
Plus, I had friends, and I was also in kind of a relationship with a lot of people wherein I was sharing my philosophical bond with them. But I somewhere kind of find a loophole, and I was not able to find that kind of connect with my life that I really always wanted to,
I think connect with yourself or other people.
with myself first.
Okay.
So I am a kind of person who is an extrovert, who gels up really well,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of friends as well. But somewhere deep down, I knew that this is not the kind of life I always wanted for myself. I wanted to be a part of Indian Air Force
Okay.
since I was 4, I guess.
Okay.
I was pretty much clear about my life, like the Indian Air Force. Uh, I couldn't get through it. I tried for like 9 times. I couldn't get recommended. But still, I was not really shattered. I actually wanted to do something for myself that I was expecting in Indian Air Force. I always have that feeling in my head that Anuja, why did you want to be a part of the armed forces? The life it offers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The excitement, service to nation, and the kind of life it offers. That is what I wanted to be a part of. So why not create something like that for yourself?
Yes.
So that's what I have been doing, creating the same kind of experiences and excited life for myself that I really wanted some other institution to offer me. But it couldn't happen for some reasons.
Yeah.
But finally I'm here, and I'm happy to create an experience for myself, like on my own. So yeah, I mean,
A lot of questions have come to my mind, when you were answering. But first, so something that you told that what you were expecting out of the Air Force life, if that could not happen, then there are other ways to do that, right?
Yeah.
And this is something I recommend to a lot of people. If you are like, don't attach yourself to outcome, because like attach yourself to a purpose, right? Because if you attach yourself to an outcome, and when that does not happen, you feel very disappointed. But when you attach yourself to a purpose, and when path A does not work, there are 100,000 more paths just to follow that purpose. It's just different routes towards a single out, or like a single purpose that you want to achieve, right? But before we get into the deep questions, I want to ask, why Urban Jugni? What does that mean?
Urban Jugni.
And that's your Instagram for people who are listening. That's Anuja's Instagram ID. So why Urban Jugni?
And yeah, I also write a blog in the name of Urban Jugni.
I will attach your Instagram and your website in the description.
All right. So Jugni literally means a firefly.
Okay.
It's a Punjabi word. So it was introduced by a Punjabi poet in his poetry. He defined Jugni as a soul, a person who is free from any judgments, from any bounds, any prejudices made by societies. So it's a firefly. I mean, who glows and doesn't really care about what other people or maybe the surroundings, might think about the particular being. So Jugni is that, and I would like, if somebody asks me, Anuja, what is your spirit animal? I always wanted to be a firefly. Because it glows as well as it's free, So Jugni from there, and I have been living my entire life in the cities, so kind of lived in urban world. So yeah, I am an urban Jugni. So that's how the name came out to be. I also appreciate the lands, the country lands. I mean, I belong to both of the lands, the urban and the country side. I do not have biases. Every world has its own charm. So I do not have biases. Like, I love countryside much more than what urban side has to offer me, because I have lived my entire life in urban world. So I do not have judgments. But yeah, so that's how Urban Jugni came out to be.
Yeah, so the thing is that you don't have a bias. I see that because I saw a picture, and the way from the picture what I saw, you get very well connected to the locals, right? So have you ever thought what's that in you that you get connected to the locals wherever you travel? And do you do that? I also see you being very close to the animals. So why do you do that? I don't want to ask how, but why do you do that? Why do you want to connect with locals and the local animals, the local people? Why do you do that?
Because I believe everyone has something to teach you.
Okay.
I mean, if I am going out of my comfort zone and visiting a new place, why not meet a different person from that particular place who can actually tell me something about that particular place? And these people have a lot of stories to tell you.
Okay.
Mind it. And these stories are beautiful. I mean, they provoke that kind of thought in your mind that, she just said something which is really deep, but she might not know. She might not know that, right? That she has said something which is really deep. So I am a sucker for stories. अगर कोई मेरे सामने बैठा है, अगर कोई मुझसे बात नहीं भी कर रहा है, I just go to that person, just strike up a conversation and just say hi to hello. And if that person actually matches my vibe, so I believe in a vibe thing, okay?
Yeah.
If that person matches my vibe, and then I start talking to that person and start asking those stories that might have transformed that person in the past, in the present, or maybe the kind of stuff that person thinks about the future. So these stories help me create my new world in a better way. So that's why I do not really think of anything when I go to meet these people. But I think in the back of my mind, this is what I really feel. If I meet a new person, I just wanna know whatever that person has to teach me. Everyone has something to teach. Even the Buddha says that if you know something, share it with the world. I mean, if you don't share it with the world, then how the world will be enlightened?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And Anuja, so something that you told that everyone has to teach, can teach you something. Everyone wants to be a teacher, and very few people want to be a student, and you are one of them. So I really appreciate that. I want to ask, like you talked about, every person has something to teach you. What's been your top learnings from traveling? Something like totally unexpected learning that I've had during your travel.
Okay. A, contentment. I mean, how people are content in their own lives,
Okay.
not bothered about the money that they are making, not bothered about the food that they are eating, not bothered about the future that they are looking up to. And they're just content in the present moment. So I found this thing while I was traveling, especially the places to Himachal, or maybe especially places in Uttarakhand. Whenever I met Pahadis, that's what I got to learn. I mean, they are so much content in their lives. They don't really want, anybody to tell them that, what, you're not living your life. Go out and be ambitious. They're just content and happy.
Just living in the present.
They are living the present. One thing that I learned, that there's no past,
Yeah.
there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you just chuck these two things out and live in the present moment, the present moment that we have right now, right? We are talking, right?
Yeah.
So this is the real moment. If you do not respect this, future is not going to be the golden one for you.
Being 100% in.
Yes.
So there's a term in meditation called mindfulness.
Yes.
Just being in present. Like if I'm talking to you right now, the most important thing is our conversation to me. No matter what's happening around me, no matter whatever happens around me, it does not matter to me. What matters is our conversation, because that's what we are here to do, right? So I believe one of your top learning is contentment and mindfulness
Contentment
as well.
and mindfulness.
What else?
The third would be welcoming. How welcoming you are. If
Okay.
you do not really talk to anybody and you're just into your comfort zone, I respect somebody who is an introvert.
Okay.
But still, if you're not coming out of your comfort zone and talking to people, then you're gonna miss out on a lot of things that you might not be aware of. If you're just in your space, then you're not growing. Sometimes I also feel like, keeping quiet and not talking to
Yeah.
anyone. And I sometimes also expect someone to come to me and talk and maybe break the ice, and then probably I will talk. But still, if you're not coming out of your comfort zone and talking to people around you, you are not gonna grow. I mean, personally, what I really feel, you can grow with the help of the teachings that you actually get from your surroundings. So it actually helps you explore a lot of unexplored areas that you might have not known.
Right.
So exploring the unexplored is something.
Okay.
That-
I think this is the title of the episode, Exploring the Unexplored by Anuja Bhanot.
Oh my god, that would be great. I just gave a name to my session. So yeah, exploring the unexplored is something you do when you come out of your comfort zone and talk to people around you. And sorry.
Yeah. This is something I say a lot, that your growth happens when you get out of your comfort zone, because I believe when you are in a comfort zone, the average EQ, the average IQ, it's similar. And if you really want to grow, then you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to get out of your comfort zone and learn a lot of things, meet new people, and see what they have to teach you.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the last, what I really want to share is that you actually think that you know your boundaries, but you don't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got to know this thing when I was on a trek
Okay.
to Kareri Lake in 2017.
Okay.
I was on my periods. I mean, I did not know that I was going to get it, but I had covered like 7 kilometers already,
Okay.
and I did not know what to do. I mean, it was my first day, and people, they just dread the first day. I mean,
yeah, I know. It's
so
very painful. And you had no sanitary napkins, right?
I did not have the sanitary napkins with me. So that was also one of the challenges.
Yeah.
This guy who was a localite, he told me that, Anuja, do you want to go back
Okay.
to the base? So we had anyway covered the half distance.
Okay, so it was like around 14 kilometers.
Yes. So
Okay.
I was like, no, I don't think that, we should go back because we have anyway covered the half of the distance. I just took a leap of faith in
Okay.
myself and my body, and I covered the next half.
Was it worth it?
It was worth it. I
Okay.
mean, the moment I reached the top,
Okay.
I was like, Anuja, how did you do it? I couldn't believe myself and my body. That day I realized that you actually don't know how much potential that you actually have. Like your body, what your body can amaze you.
True.
So you can push your boundaries when you want to, if you want to. If you're up for it and if your mind is up for it, then you can do anything that you want. So that is one thing that I have learned while traveling, that there is no limit to your boundaries. So do not make your boundaries.
Anuja, do you have this fear that this life is not enough to travel enough? As in, there are a lot of places out there, right? And there, the fear of, I think, missing out, or the fear of not exploring enough. Do you have that fear, or do you feel satisfied with whatever you can and how much you can in this life? Do you have that thing, and how do you cope up with that? Because I want to share something personal, my personal experience. So I was in Nepal for almost a year, and so I knew, okay, these are the places that I can go, and there are a lot of other places that I cannot cover in 1 year, right? A lot of treks. There's Annapurna, base camp, lot of other treks and a lot of places that I wanted to go. And I always had this thing, like, for almost 4 or 5 months, I lived in this anxiety or fear that, यार इतना टाइम ही नहीं है, इतनी जगहें हैं, how will I cover, right? Like, how will I make sure कि एक साल में I travel enough? So do you have that, and if yes, how do you cope up with that?
Okay, so this reminds me of this dialogue from the movie Ye Jawani Hai Diwani.
Okay.
कितना भी try कर लो बनी, कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटेगा ही.
Yeah.
So I really think that the world is really big. I have covered, I think, 28 years of my life. Like, I've spent 28 years of my life on this earth.
Okay.
And I really don't think that I have enough time to travel across the globe. But somewhere I dread that I would not have as much experiences I would want to. So I do not dread that मुझे घूमने को नहीं मिलेगा, मुझे नई places पे जाने को नहीं मिलेगा. What I really I'm scared of not experiencing everything that is out there. I mean, बहुत सारे experiences हैं life में करने को, जो मैंने सोचे हैं, जो मैंने शायद जो मुझे पता भी नहीं होगा, जो exist भी करते हैं.
Yeah.
So probably वो नहीं कर पाऊंगी is something that might be there in the back of my mind, but still मुझे पता है that's the reality. कुछ ना कुछ तो कभी ना कभी तो छूटेगा ही. So जब तक जितना कर सकती हूँ उसको मैं अच्छे से करूँ is something that I really want to do. So अगर मैं कर सकती हूँ, इस पल को जी सकती हूँ अच्छे से, so I think I will be content. तो कल को अगर मैं if I leave this earth, and anyway everyone has to leave, right? It's one day or another.
Yeah.
So if I leave this earth, I have memories to fall back on, that Anuja, you lived your life.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटेगा ही. बहुत कुछ है करने को, देखने को. नहीं हो पाया तो that's fine, but I think optimism is something that I have in my mind.
Okay.
And that's one of the greatest strengths that I have. I just expect for the good days to come.
Okay.
So it's okay if I leave a lot of experiences behind before I die, but still I have a lot of things to talk about when even in the heaven or maybe hells. You never know.
Do you practice mindfulness in your daily life? Like when you're not traveling, do you practice mindfulness? Like as you told ki, if you're having this conversation, then this like pal mein jeena thing. So do you practice mindfulness, or like do you meditate, or how do you make yourself more mindful about whatever you're doing?
I do yoga.
Okay.
It actually helps me keep my body in line with my thoughts. I'm really looking forward to explore the meditational world as well. But yeah, yoga helps me keep my mind calm and my body intact. So that's one of the things. The other thing I would say that uh, philosophical conversations.
Okay.
I mean, the one that we are having right now, the one I would have with my friend or maybe with a stranger, that is also kind of meditation for me.
Hmm. I think conversations give rise to a lot of new ideas,
Exactly.
new thoughts, new perspectives. Uh, Anuja, do you have, and this is a very random question that came into my mind. Do you have this thing that, so everyone has a peak in their life? जो like players होते हैं, athletes होते हैं, they have their peak around 29, 30, 32. So do you have this thing कि what if this is the peak of your travel, or what if कि there has to be a peak of your traveling, and after that it's going to be, the graph is going to go down? Do you have this, like, have you ever thought about that? Or when I ask you this question, how does it make you feel?
I've never thought about it though, but sure, there would be a peak someday
Yeah.
where my body would not allow me to do whatever my mind says, right?
True, yes.
But what I really think that if you're strong enough to make your mind understand that, Anuja, you can do it, control or probably train your body accordingly,
Pushing the limits.
push your limits, you do not know your boundaries. I mean, we have hell loads of examples around us. If I talk about Arunima Sinha,
Okay.
amputee sports person
Yeah,
who
yeah.
scaled Mount Everest.
Hmm.
I mean, how did she do it? She had one goal in her mind. I need to scale that Mount Everest. I do not care if my legs are, not there. I mean, I have amputee legs. She did it.
Yeah.
That amuses me. Like, that intrigues me. Like, if that woman can do something like this, anybody who is determined and who is strong enough to understand and believe in their dreams can do anything. So I am sure there will be a peak, but I would just like to embrace that peak and like to embrace that particular situation, that it's okay, Anuja, sit back, relax, probably it's the time for you to relax, maybe. So I've not thought about it yet.
Okay.
But if it comes someday, then probably I would like to embrace it with my arms open.
So in your previous answer, you said कि दुनिया कितनी बड़ी है, right? And this is something we talked before the podcast as well. कि whenever we travel, I think everyone gets this thought कि दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है, and then you come across someone, or then you see something, like something happens, and then you think यार दुनिया कितनी छोटी है, right? So this paradox, have you ever thought about, and what's your opinion? दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है, दुनिया बहुत छोटी है?
World is a small global village.
Yeah, I know.
So now we have internet, right?
Yeah.
पहले मैं सोच सकती थी कि दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है. I mean, I do not even know how to reach to a place which would be at North Pole. But now we have got internet, we have got means to go there. So दुनिया geographically बड़ी है,
Okay.
but philosophically and literally छोटी है.
So how do you travel differently from other people?
I really don't know that. I mean, how do other travelers do it? But I can tell about myself, and that is, I just do it sustainably. I mean, I started traveling when I was a kid. I mean, my dad was in the Indian Air Force, and he used to take us to different places altogether, and I used to enjoy those places, visiting those places. And when I grew up, I was in standard 7, I think. I went for a mountaineering camp for 13 days in
Okay.
Solang Valley
Okay.
with Explore Himalayas.
Right.
So that was an enlightening experience for me, where I actually got to know the basics of mountaineering. I was not aware of those things before. Like, oh my God, I mean, I can do something like this as well. So that was an intriguing moment for me, that, Anuja, this is something that you like, adventure sports. Till then, I've been exploring adventure sports. I've been traveling a lot. I started recording my travel in 2019 only.
Okay.
All right. But somewhere I really think that, when I had a plan to travel across world in 2020, but then, Corona happened
Yeah.
to every one of us.
Yes.
But somewhere I actually knew that, Anuja, you anyway have to do it. So I took my car in October and went to a place in Himachal.
Okay.
I took care of all the precautions, like with all the precautionary measures. I traveled. Also, I do not really want the environment to be harmed adversely whenever I travel. So I keep my trash
Yeah.
along with me.
Okay.
In my car, I just keep a carry bag along with me, just so that I just do not throw my trash anywhere, right? So because I have also not seen better waste management systems in Himachal and Uttarakhand, though the things are really scaling up these days, but
Okay.
still I just keep my trash along with me. Also, one good thing is that I keep my water bottle along with me as well. I just keep refilling it. In that way, I do not use most of the plastic. I mean,
Plastic, yes.
mainly whenever you go for the travel, you actually drink around 5 to 10 water bottles in a day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as a group, so why not just carry one water bottle for yourself and keep refilling it? Because wherever you go these days, people have ROs, and also the Himalayan rivers are anyway clean.
good
I mean,
water.
yeah, you can just drink water
Out of the tap.
just by using just normal filter, and then that's fine. So
Okay.
just keep one water bottle with you, and that's how I do my travel. So these are very small things that I follow while I'm traveling, so that I just live in harmony with the nature.
Yeah.
Because if I am traveling to these places are pristine places. That's what I believe. That's why they are called Devbhumi as well.
Yeah.
Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. So I try to keep my footprints,
The impact on the nature.
footprints limited, so that I do not harm the nature. So yeah, that's what I do. And also I try local dishes apart from Maggie.
Yeah.
Just do not have a bowl of Maggie whenever you go to hills. That is what everyone does, and that's easier for the localites as well to make a 2-minute noodles. But try having local dishes. Insist locals to make local dishes for you. Dal chawal and siddu.
Siddu,
and,
yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
That was the
Mani.
first thing that came to my mind, because I remember eating that in Shimla. It's very tasty.
Yeah, mani. So whatever, wherever you go, try tasting the local dishes. That's how you're traveling, right?
Yeah.
You get to know new things when you try those things out. Maggie तो आप घर पे भी खाते हो.
True.
So food and keeping your trash intact. That's what I really do. I mean, that's what I like to do. Also, I like to stay in the homestays so that I can actually talk to the locals, gel up with them, and be in touch with them later as well. So, yeah.
Right. So, like when you stay with locals, how do you how do you approach them, or how do you make sure that you are very welcoming and making sure that whatever you do, even with your body, both verbal and non-verbal communication, how do you make sure that it's the right thing? Do you do some research before approaching them? Do you do some research? What are the cultures that people of particular area follow? Because in 2020 I had a team, and in my team there's a person from Indonesia, people from Nepal, from Sri Lanka, from Vietnam, right? And then I used to make sure that even with my verbal and both non-verbal language, I used to make sure that I don't offend them in any way. And we have Google, right? We can do some research on how a person, let's say in Vietnam, greets, right? Or how a person in, let's say, the north part of Indonesia, what kind of food do they eat? What are the festivals they celebrate, right? So, and what are the the religious beliefs they have? Because a lot of times what happens, we think that in our perspective, in our beliefs, that may be right, but that may not be right in someone else's beliefs, right? So does that happen to you? Like, do you do some research? How do you make sure that whatever you're doing, it's not like, it does not have a negative narrative in someone else's culture?
So what I really believe is that try learning a few slangs before you go to a place.
Okay.
All right, slangs that are really popular, so that people know that you probably don't know the language, but they anyway help you out later, right? So in that way, they also think that at least you did some research and you did try to be a part of their culture. For example, when I was in Bangalore, I did not know Kannada.
Okay.
And people of Bangalore, especially the Kannadigas, they are very particular about their language and their culture. So whenever I go to a market, whenever I used to go to the market and ask for let's say a dozen of bananas, I do not know how to speak Kannada, right? So I just used to say this thing, amma Kannada gotilla. So
that I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That meant amma mujhe Kannada nahi aati hai.
Yeah.
So they understand it, right?
Yeah,
and then you just tell them that you want this, and then they tell you that that's how that particular thing is worth this much. So you just pay it and then you come back. So just try to learn a few local slangs, and then you will be sorted. Even when I went to Meghalaya, people don't understand Hindi there. The Khasi people, they don't really understand Hindi, but they somewhere know English a bit.
Okay.
So I was conversing with them in English. So yeah, I mean, कहते हैं ना कि when in Rome, do what Romans do.
Yeah, do what Romans
So
do.
even if you are not trying, just don't push yourself onto them so that they are not really offended. Okay. Then other things will be sorted, because they also know that you're coming from outside and they do not really expect great things from you. So that's fine. I mean, do not be edgy. That's it.
One thing this traveling teaches you, my biggest learning is inclusivity. You get to learn how to be more inclusive, how to make sure you're not offending anyone, how to make sure that everyone around you feels included, right? So have you ever had any kind of stereotype for any person, like, or for any for people of, let's say, certain region, and when you actually went, those stereotypes, those myths, they just burst out? Like, have they had this ever happened to you?
I have never had stereotypes, but people do have. I mean, when I was studying in Pune, people used to actually think that, Punjabis matlab butter chicken, daru, bhangra, and loud.
Yeah.
I mean, when they got to know that I'm Punjabi, so they were like amused. Anuja, tum कैसी पंजाबी हो? तुम तो vegetarian हो?
Boxes do you check इसमें से?
Yeah, I mean, I am a vegetarian.
Okay.
I do not drink alcohol.
Okay, दो तो नहीं हुए.
So I am good at bhangra though, but I'm good at other dance forms as well.
Yeah.
So
2 out of 4.
Yeah, they were amazed to know that I was a vegetarian and I do not really drink alcohol, and I'm Punjabi. And they also somewhere thought that if I am Punjabi, then I have to be Sikh. So
raise your turban.
Yeah. So my parents, I mean, my father would be wearing a turban, and that kind of prejudices that they had. But then I made them understand that, bro, there's a difference between religion and region.
Yeah.
That's how they understood it via conversation. If I did not, if I wouldn't have, made them understand this thing, they wouldn't have known that, right? So yeah, conversations make it easier. I mean, so they also get to know about your culture, and you also get to know about their culture as well. And one notion that I also had was that, I had this one notion that, the South Indians, Malayalis, Tamilians and Kannada people, they are really good at, they're just really good at singing and dancing. Okay. But when I went to Pune, what I really got to know was they were all-rounders. I mean, people from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, they all were so talented. I mean, I was amazed. Okay. They were good at dancing, dramatics, singing, academics, and you name one thing and they knew it. So I was so amazed to know that how do they juggle between these things, and how are they how have they become so all-rounder? And later on, I got to know that since childhood, they have been doing this.
Jack of all
Sports,
trades,
everything.
master of all trades.
Yes. Jack of all trades for sure.
And master.
Yeah. Master, I would say,
Almost,
yeah, probably,
almost
almost. So I was so amazed.
Yeah.
And that is something that made me an awe of them. That, oh my God, these people are so talented. And I would also learn a few things right now. So that was pretty much motivating for myself as well. So yeah, prejudices have been there around me, but it's important to talk about those prejudices.
Yeah.
So you also get to know about the culture of others, and people also get to know what you actually have lived and what you have been living since childhood. So yeah.
So, do you believe, Anuja, that you can actually check off a city or like a place off your list? For example, let's take example of Nainital, right? So, if a person has a checklist that they want to travel to Nainital, and then let's say that person goes there and live there for, let's say, 2 weeks. So, do you believe that person should check off check off Nainital from the list, or do you believe that you cannot explore a place enough? And do you do that, if you want to, let's say, travel to Meghalaya, right? And then do you check that off ki haan ho gaya, that now I am not going to travel, or that I have traveled enough? Do you ever feel that I have traveled a place enough?
No, I never check things off, because for me, there's always a new thing to explore in every place. Even when I went to Meghalaya, I was there for like 6 to 7 days.
Okay.
But I think 6 to 7 days are not enough to explore one place.
True.
I have been to Udaipur for like 4 times.
Okay.
I still think that I can't get enough of Udaipur. So whenever I go to this place, I always learn a new thing altogether. I always experience new things altogether. So no, I keep coming back to the places that I really like visiting, and the places that have immense flora and fauna to offer me. Also the people make the places.
Yeah.
If the people are warm enough, I keep going back to those places. So yeah, I do not check off of the list. Like, I generally keep going back to the places that I like the most. So Meghalaya, you named Meghalaya, and mind it, I really wish to go back there. If I get a chance, I would really go back there once again. So yeah, I keep pushing people to go to Meghalaya.
Let's say, I think one of the misconceptions that people have, that they don't travel their own city, or they don't travel their own place. They just want to go somewhere very far. But I think if you really want to explore, you should also explore wherever you are living. I'll tell you, so very few people know that there's a doll museum in Chandigarh. Very few people. And I'm just, amazed that why don't, people who live in Chandigarh or have been living here, let's say 6-7 years, they don't know there's a dolls museum, right? So do you travel your own city? Have you ever done that? And I think I've seen a few of your stories, talking about the beauty of Chandigarh. So do you do that?
Yeah, Manik, I mean, you mentioned doll museum, and I'm in awe of you. You know about doll museum, and not many people of Chandigarh know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dad took me to doll museum when I was in standard 6 or 5, I think, and I was so happy to go there, and I have been there thrice.
Yeah.
So even with my friends when I was in college. So yeah, you're pretty much right that people don't know about their own place as well, and they
True.
they just go to other places and call it wanderlust.
Yeah.
I also think that you have to explore your your particular place first, and then try moving out. A lot of people don't know about the wild sanctuary that we have as well, near Panjore. So I keep asking a lot of people in my group that are from Chandigarh about that wildlife sanctuary, and nobody knows about it. A few people know about it, and I take these people to that particular spot, and they're like amazed. Oh my God, Chandigarh के आसपास ये भी है. And then I'm like, guys, explore it. I mean, just probably take your scooter or car and just just go somewhere and you will find new places altogether. So yeah, I do it. I explore places that are nearby, and even during lockdown, when I was not really in a great situation, so I just used to go for a drive. So I used to go for a drive to these kind of locations, locations unknown to many of those out there. So yeah, but it's better as well, I think. If these people do not know about these places, then these people will be less visited.
I have a story. Have you watched Rang De Basanti?
Yes, I do.
So you know the fort where Ajay proposes like his girlfriend, like they hang around a fort. The fort,
Yeah.
so that fort is around 40 minutes from this
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
It's called art, like the name is RDB, like the Rang De Basanti fort, but it also has Sarai Mughal, I think that's the name of the fort. I first visited that place in 2017, right? No one knew about that. I went in 2017 alone. I went there twice. There's no, like, I went with my friends and we were the only ones in the fort. There was a security guard, right? The place, like, it was open, as in, like, you could go anywhere. There's a like dargah of some Mughal emperor, right? And then you could also go upstairs where the Rang De Basanti people used to hang out, right? And then I went in 17, I went in 18, and I don't know why, but I think in 2019 the Punjab government, they लोग करार कर दिया उन्होंने कि this is a heritage site, right?
Yeah.
And then in 2019 I went again. There were a lot of people, and at least 30% of the fort like was not accessible क्योंकि वो lock लगा दिए उन्होंने. जो दरगाह थी, you could not go there. Upstairs भी they were like, you know, पहले 2-3 जगह, like there were 2-3 ways you could go upstairs, वो बंद कर दिए. And I was very disappointed कि यार मैं यहाँ आता रहा जब किसी को नहीं पता रहा.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. But अभी बहुत लोग टूरिस्ट आने लग गए हैं. So that happened with me, and I can like totally relate what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anuja, I want to talk about the financial aspect of traveling. So you quit your corporate job, you are freelancing now, right?
Yeah.
So how do you manage your finances? Is there like a structured way to do that, or you just, you know, like do as it comes? How do you do that?
Okay, so I do freelance projects. I'm a marketer by profession. So I help brands, increasing their social media presence, and I help them with the marketing budgets and marketing strategies, and I help them make a mark in the market. So yeah, in that way, I am paid enough to sponsor my travels as well as my chores. So yeah, probably right now. So I used to earn a good money when I was with corporates, but somewhere down the line I knew that I cannot travel as much as I wanted to, just because you have commitments to the organization and the processes. So छुट्टी का problem इतना रहता है. So even when I was in Zomato, I was working with Zomato, I traveled to 5 destinations in a year. So even I had managed to make my manager understand that what, I would not take the leaves even if I am not well, but please, whenever I take leaves for like a long stretch, please give me those leaves, because I'm gonna take those leaves for my travels, and that's something I really like doing. And she understood. And
it's a very good tip for people who are working and have this excuse that छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी, manager नहीं मानेंगे.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very good tip.
Yeah. So basically, mostly the problem arises because you do not really want to piss your manager off, right? If you have already talked to your manager about it, that I am going to deliver all the KPIs and I am going to be good at my projects. बस आपको जब मैं 5 दिन के लिए छुट्टी बोलूँ तो आप तब दे देना. And I am not asking you to extend the limits of your chuttis, but at least make your manager understand what you really want in life. I mean, so that the manager also understands that that's something important to you, right? And I have worked even when I was not well. Even if I had to work from home, I have worked, because passion for travel was something bigger than what
like वो scale पे वो ज़्यादा भारी था.
Exactly. So I was always up for work. So if you're showing your dedication to work and your projects, your manager will be okay with it. So even I had a very supportive manager, so I did not have much problem. But again, 5 destinations in a year was not enough for me. That's why I quit, and I had something in my mind that I wanted to do of my own. So that's a dream project. Let's see how does it pan out. So yeah, I'm working on it right now, and side by side freelancing with different brands. So,
do you want to give a few, do you want to leak out some information about your dream project?
Not really, but I can just pass on a hint, and that is I might move to Himachal soon.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Very, very excited for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a last question for you. Really important one, okay? So what would be your advice to people जिन्होंने वो गोवा ट्रिप का ग्रुप तो बना लिया है बट वो कभी जाएंगे नहीं, मम्मा पापा नहीं मानेंगे, मैनेजर नहीं मानेगा. व्हाट वुड बी योर एडवाइस टू दैट ग्रुप वाले लोग कि हाँ गोवा जाना तो है बट कैसे जाना है, एंड बाय विद एवरी सेकेंड एक इंसान ग्रुप छोड़ रहा है कि हाँ मैंने लीव कर दिया. व्हाट वुड बी योर एडवाइस?
Yes, this happens a lot, but I have a hack for it.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I do. I don't know how sustainable it is going to for you guys, but what I really do, I just research about a destination and then book the tickets. I mean, I plan the days and book the tickets in advance, and then I tell my friends, listen, these are the dates and this is the place and this is how I am going to go. Are you guys up for it?
Okay.
So the decision has been made.
Yeah.
There is no chaos in the WhatsApp group. यार नहीं वहाँ जाएंगे, यार नहीं वहाँ जाएंगे. So many minds are not there. The decision has been made. Now people need to decide whether they want to join or not.
मैं तो जा रही हूँ, तुम देखो.
Exactly. No, not really that, but I make it easier for them as well, because if I keep asking them यार dates बताओ तो they will say
indecisive हो जाते हैं.
Yeah, indecisive हो जाते हैं कि यार हम अपने पेरेंट्स से पूछेंगे, हम अपने मैनेजर से पूछेंगे, या छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी. So there are so many chaotic situations out there. So to avoid that, even I was not sure whether my manager is going to allow me or not. I used to book the tickets, even the non-refundable ones. I used to take that risk, and then I used to make my manager understand that after 2 weeks or a week, I am going to go for these many days, and she used to understand it. So I think do that, and then offer that particular trip to your friends, so that they are not taking time to decide whether they want to go or not, and where do they want to go. That's pretty much easier for everyone. And then that moment they can also decide whether they can ask the same about the trip to their managers or not. And if they make their managers understand, then they are pretty much happy to be on board. So that's the best thing to do. I mean, just book it. Don't delay it. If you are delaying it by a day, by 2 days, then it's not going to happen any day, any time sooner. So yeah.
So I know I said ki that's going to be a last question, but I have another question, and that just came from what I was thinking about right now. Ki Anuja, whenever you travel, if you're traveling solo, and when you're not meeting the locals, when you're doing nothing, what are your thoughts? How do you embrace the nothingness? जब कुछ नहीं है करने को, let's say आप ट्रैक कर रहे हो, right? There's no one around, there's no place, there's no shop, there's no one to interact with. How do you embrace that nothingness, and what are your thoughts उस time में? Do you think about anything? What do you do उस time में?
Okay, generally when I'm on a trek, when you're on a trek, you are on your own. You are just hiking, and people around you are probably ahead of you or maybe somewhere behind. But at that point of time, I just focus on my breaths.
Oh, as in the breathing technique?
Breathing techniques, yes.
Okay.
I focus on my breathing techniques.
Why do you do that?
That helps you to walk easier.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you really get tired because you do not know how to breathe properly. Not many people know about it. They think that trekking is hard because they can't walk. Trekking is hard because they do not know about the breathing techniques. Also, the stamina, that also counts. But still, if you know how to breathe properly, you can trek it. You can go for a trek in an easier way. So I just focus on my breathing techniques. Second, I think about my life a lot.
Oh,
Like
what about life?
where am I going right?
Oh.
Where am I going wrong? What are the things that I need to understand to make myself better, a bit better than every day? I mean, as a person, for myself and for the people that I love. So I think about myself. I introspect a lot.
Okay.
So I keep thinking about it, like, what if I do this and make myself understand that, Anuja, no, ye kar, shayad it will help you out in your personal and professional life. So I think about those things and discuss those things with myself. So in my head.
Okay.
So yeah, so probably I just try to declutter my thoughts. Thoughts that were already cluttered.
Yeah.
I try to declutter those thoughts कि भाई align करते हैं, बहुत हो गया, ये बहुत इन्होंने हंगामा मचा रखा था. Let's declutter these thoughts and align those thoughts in a way that these thoughts will help me in my life
Okay.
in a better way. So बस उन thoughts को रखती हूँ जो which are going to help me in one way or another, and the thoughts that are not gonna help me, I just chuck those thoughts, and that's what I do. Declutter
How
my
do you
thoughts.
declutter when you're not traveling? Because I'm sure तभी बहुत clutter तो होता होगा.
I sit with myself in the night and try writing down the things that are really important to me and the things that are not important at all. So when I look at those things that are not important to me, I'm amazed because mostly I think about those things only.
Okay.
And then I realize myself that, oh my God, Anuja, why are you spending so much time on things that do not even matter to you
Yeah.
in your life? So that actually helps me understand कि भाई तुम गलत जा रहे हो, सही राह पकड़ो और जो चीज़ें मैटर करती हैं उन्हीं पे काम करो, उन्हीं पे फोकस करो.
Align करना खुद को.
Yeah. So that way, then the next day I wake up with a smile and then I work on those things that really are important to me. So yeah, that's how I declutter my thoughts. Otherwise, I just go on a drive with my best friend. She's a very funny person, and she makes sure that I am laughing all the time whenever she's around. So that is also one of the meditations. So yeah. Third, sunsets.
Oh, you're a sucker for sunsets.
I am a
as well.
sucker for sunsets.
And adrenaline as well, right?
Yeah. I did not know that I was a sucker for sunsets. I recently got to know that. I mean, unknowingly, I was always capturing sunsets, and I was always lost when I looked at one. So recently, I got to know that I'm a sucker for sunsets. And sunsets, for some people, meditation could be, sometimes that they spend it with themselves.
Yeah, it can be
Sunset,
anything.
yeah. Sunset is meditation for me. If I am sitting and watching a sunset, it's meditation for me. So that helps me declutter my thoughts as well.
Right. Anuja, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I want to end this with the question, one word for traveling, what is it for you?
Soul stirring.
Oh, okay. Soul stirring. Okay, right. Thank you so much, Anuja.
Yeah.
And I look forward to other conversations as well. This has been an amazing conversation. So yes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Manik.